a little bit, and then maybe we can,
Yeah, sure.
Based on what you tell us, we can just come up with some questions and we go from there, if that's okay.
Definitely. So I would like to say, from my coming to my roles and responsibilities from my previous experience, I was actually working as a DevOps engineer in the last 3 years. And my role responsibilities for working with the various kinds of DevOps CI/CD pipelines, working on the DevSecOps handling business, and the 10th of the automation in the application sides. And also responsible for handling the end-to-end release services, getting the approvals from the stakeholders, and also entire CI/CD processes. I also got some good experience with the role-based access controls, working with the release management and application side, and also handling the integration sides. I was also working with the DevSecOps data of the CI/CD. So we were also able to enable security adding practices and function that scanning, threat intelligence, policy enforcement, as well as static analysis, compliance, and also validation of the software development lifecycle. And understanding the checkpoint software and also using it from defining the desk scanning of the, scanning of the data points. And also as I did the development, I was also doing remediation of security vulnerabilities and understanding how the checkpoint firewall is validated continuously through the SDLC lifecycle. And I've also worked with the task tooling scan and for scanning the application during runtime to check the security issues. Also work on tools to discover vulnerabilities across the various lifecycle events. While also working with the checkpoints and other SDLC lifecycle data, which is the prompted handling, and also on the CI/CD on the application side, to scan the application side runtime data with the security. So for responsible for working with the customized tools on the application and handling the service integrations, will also work with the checkpoints as. And I was also working with the rollout of the CAC orchestration, say that, and make sure that we were able to use vulnerability scanners across those systems, working with application environments and deployments of these services on the role-based access controls on the checkpoint firewall. And the Kubernetes, when it comes to the technology side, the Kubernetes security profile management to help enterprise bring, and also to scan inside that, and also using the closeout of validating the IAM enforcement policies using misconfiguration, understanding the grievances, and also those kind of things, and say that. So it was really kind of useful for us to enforcing each of these CI/CD environments. Yeah, I'm also familiar with the Docker, Kubernetes, and Jenkins, Ansible tools, which I use on day-to-day regular basis. And detecting the high-risk time configurations, particularly workloads, as well as the scalability region.
Okay, that sounds impressive. You've got a lot of skills. Do you have any knowledge around content delivery networks?
So CDN, yes. I was using the Route 53 for DNS and also using the CDN, which is the Akamai CDN, which was used. So both of these was in my project. I would like to say that primarily utilized for doing the end-to-end configurations. Like across those systems, also got some experience with the project with specification metrics, trying to working on the end-to-end configuration in those systems. So I also got some good experience with the rollout of customized deployments, like lifecycle management tools, which are prompted there, getting approvals from the stakeholders about, and release management, and also integration management. So yeah, this really helped us to also improve the performance.
Okay. And then on your CV, I can see you've got two job experiences. Is that accurate? Is that up to date?
Yes. Recently my contract got ended from the QA testing hub.
Okay, so you started in 2018 as a junior DevOps engineer, and now you're currently working as May. So your last role finished on May, yeah?
Yes.
Back in May.
Yes.
Okay. And you're currently just looking for a job?
Yes, you're right.
Okay. So can you talk to me a little bit more about your day-to-day responsibilities in your last role, what you were doing there on a daily basis?
Yeah, so on the daily basis, I would like to say that I'm actually responsible for working on creating the CI/CD pipelines, handling the services. So in the CI/CD, I was also responsible for validating the service integration data which has prompted there and getting the approvals. It also working with how the deployments could be managed there. So I also got some experience with the Amazon Machine Images, handling the elastic load balancers, EVS volumes with the persistence score, and also to Jenkins and GitHub, and also Amazon AMI for the DynamoDB using the Lambda functions, and also work on the document DB, which are created on the GitHub enterprise environment, for Terraform for the automation of the CI/CD pipeline, and also on the Logstash, Kibana, Grafana, handling various scripting inside that. And I was also working with the Terraform scripting for automating the CI/CD integration, and also working with the Grafana data points with the Prometheus Logstash, which was prompted inside the rollout of each these streaming environments, and also getting the approvals from them. And I also got working on the Kibana and trying to work on containerization and manifest files, getting approvals from stakeholders about release management APIs, which was prompted by us. And I was also doing some kind of like PowerShell script servers, working with the customized container deployments.
Okay, so the Elastic Load Balancer and all the tools that you just mentioned, the Route 53 and so on, those are the AWS products, right?
Oh, yes, you're right.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about the Elastic Load Balancer. How did you utilize that?
Elastic Load Balancer. Yes. So when it comes to the Elastic Load Balancer, it is nothing but a way to be able to kind of load balance applications across multiple systems on the same time. So you don't have to worry about how you know, so that individual servers of the same time. So these are the kind of created on the application. And so you are actually distribute traffic from those systems. So you can get traffic in a load balancer, and then you can segregate them across multiple systems at the same time. So apart from that, you can also handle the load balancer data, and you can add more machines and particularly scale it on top of that. I would like to say that runtime and prompted on the source code. So this is really helpful and useful for we can validate them with the customized scalable services. So we can also add health checks as well as the launch configurations, which are prompted, yeah.
Okay, so essentially that can be used to route the traffic accordingly to a specific endpoint or backend, yeah? So let's say I have an application with two DCs, one in US, one in UK, and then I can use this Elastic Load Balancer to route the traffic to a specific backend. Is that the correct understanding of how this works?
Yes. So we can have, basically I would like to say from that, so coming to the correct understanding, so Elastic Load Balancer helps you to to define it across multiple services at the same time. So this is one thing. So apart from that, also we are working on the rollout of these sources code environments like deployment API, which is promoted there. So it also helps to get the service integration. And this is also just to add the customized health checks and set that on the role-based access control.
Okay. Okay, so slightly different to the one that we use here. Okay, in terms of the logs, right? Can you kind of push the metrics from a specific platform and then enable the logging for that? So let's say work with Grafana. I see you work with Grafana, Prometheus. How confident are you with those logging systems?
So I can say that I'm pretty much confident with the Grafana and Prometheus servers. Actually, exporting using Prometheus exporter, of which were available now generally. And I was able to kind of use them on the networks from host and applications. It runs in exported alongside the service at the regular intervals. Example, request the latest metrics from the server ingesting into the time server series database. And also exports are like with the HTTP servers which recognize so its services and collect a set of metrics and describing the service in current state of times. The service status effects was in the embedded exporter endpoint, which was eliminates to the need for a separate exporter process.
Okay. And then in terms of the alerts, are you good in configuring alerts?
Yes. I mean, I'm thinking alerting for CPU as well as the metrics based on the data disk and also other volumes which are prompted in the CPU environments. Servers and also working with the customer metrics on the rollout of the automated volumes which are defining here. So this is really help us. Yeah.
Okay. How much do you know about HTTP and TLS?
So basically the TLS and HTTP so parameter used is the configuration of the various kinds of cloud services. And also for the TLS, it's actually a transport level security which is used. So in the DNS protocol, it's actually a new protocol which is used for kind of transport layer security benefits, is that it lets you have privacy and data integrity for internal communications. So it has SSL certificates and also TLS certificates. And HTTP is on implementation of the DNS and preparation on top of that HTTP protocol. It helps us to protect the web applications from data breaches and also other attacks. To illustrate, the GDP is a standard practice or website and helps us to crack down on multiple environments on the data points.
Okay, and then do you understand how the request over the internet over HTTP works? So do you understand the whole flow from the browser to the backend?
Yes, from the browser all the way to the back, and it's actually like a layer 7 protocol which is primarily used in this case. So there is like a DNS and various kind of different DNS which appears inside the application which take place. So this is the, like other kinds of authorized and also non-authorized DNS services which have pulled out inside the application data.
Okay, and what do you know about the certificates?
Certificates. Okay. So when we come to certificates, we actually renew the certificates on every few months. I can say that whenever there is an auto renewal there, so in the certificate renewal is done based on the server, and what we do if we have a certificate authority, we pay them. So we purchase on activity SSL certificate inside there and on the runtime. So we have an Apache web server. So what we have to is actually use a key pair file, which will install in path, and also then once the participated, it will actually validate the web server data points since I didn't replication at the time.
Okay, so what are the certificates used for?
Yeah, so these certificates primarily used for the certification of the application side data, which includes but not limited to creating the SSL certificates on the remote environments. So basically, apart from that, we also have some data points which are prompted inside SSL automation API. So SSL is used for the web server for encrypting traffic across these endpoints. So once you have done that, we also validate the customer service data, which is remotely done the SSL integration side.
Okay, so from the user perspective, let's say I'll go on a browser, right? I'll search a website, let's say www.google.com. What would be the user difference if that site had a valid certificate versus it never had a valid certificate?
Yeah, so if SSL certificate is not validated, so I would like to see the browser give a warning in this case. So the invalid certificate error is shown many browser fails to validate the certificate. If you fail in the validation, essentially means that your business entity means under verified, which is equal to not having an SSL certificate at all. this is going to be a big problem, because in that case, your entire thing can be kind of not working on the application side.
Okay, and then let's go back to the security aspect, right? You said that you've been working around vulnerability discovery and stuff like that. Can you walk me through that a little bit, please?
Yes. So coming to the vulnerability assessment, I would like to say that we have got various tools for the vulnerability assessment, and say that the DevSecOps website. So we have got a scanner, and we also have what the vulnerability scanner from DevOps, and we also have Palo Alto networks for the network and scanning. We also have the Sentinel of assessment on penetration testing, as well as the teaming inside the application side on the ground level. Who validation API, I would like to say, which is created.
Okay, so what was your involvement in vulnerability discovery? Because you said that you had all these tools, you had Palo Alto, you had all this bits in the flow. So what was your
my responsibility for initiating the scans? I was also responsible for handling the scanning of the data points. I was also responsible for defining the data flow across multiple systems in the entire data scan, and also triggering them. So I was also able to compile the reports and send them to various stakeholders to get these services created and set the entire data environments.
Okay. Okay. And then what's your experience with GitHub? How confident you are within the GitHub? Can you create like GitHub actions and stuff like that?
Yeah, I can say that I'm very much proficient in GitHub, using GitHub actions. So I'm responsible for working on the various kinds of GitHub actions on the data points on the application side. So I was responsible for, able to trigger the GitHub actions and promote them on the service enterprise environment. So I also got some good experience with the role-based access control, and then doing these ebooks which are created inside the data points on that. So once it was created, then I'm responsible for also getting these services integrated with the build process. We have the entire integration which are deployed.
Okay. So if you were to pick your strengths, what would you say are your 3 key strengths?
I would like to say with Amazon Web Services and the CI/CD, as well as the DevSecOps. In my these are the 3 primary strengths which I would like to say day to day I'm working on this stuff.
So you said that you're very familiar with Amazon AWS, right? If I give you, let's say, Azure rather than AWS, what do you reckon? How quickly you can kind of familiarize yourself with that and start coping with all the features and stuff? Have you had an experience?
Yeah, I do have decent knowledge on Azure as well. That should not be a problem for me. I would like to say that we'll be maybe 1 or 2 weeks where I can actually got ahead and up and running, and I have got this knowledge and working on the Azure side as well. So in the runtime.
And Akamai?
Sorry?
And Akamai? Have you had an exposure to Akamai?
Akamai, yes. I do have the exposure on the Akamai content delivery network. So using on the Akamai CDN, trying to create primary and secondary zones. And I was also responsible for distributing edge locations, as well as trying to work on the load balancer, as well as on the avoiding the crowd zone conflicts. And also defining the Akamai zones and defining the crowd conflict and routing across the CDN. Yeah, so definitely I have got good experience in optimizing the latency of the product.
Okay, so you have more experience on the DNS side rather than on the application side.
No,
I features from Akamai or from an AWS that are used to enhance the performance and the latency.
So
do you have? So my question essentially is: do you have any experience with, let's say, caching?
Yes. I'm responsible for setting up the caching, which decreases load on the on the origin server and the latency. So it was responsible for defining the end user by caching, by adding impulse. So we were able to adopt to accelerate the set that HTTP response headers. We had edge control settings, which we were overriding the cache control and exposing the headers, and also activating the dust control for the cache control directives, which are created inside there on the responsible header data. So this is really helped us to expose entire header data and actively work from the test control data.
Okay. And then you said that you have some sort of experience with deploying web application firewall. Can you talk to me about that as well, please?
Oh, yes, sure. So coming to the web application side, from my previous experience, web application side, I'm responsible for validating the optimization, caching of the web applications, and also was just really useful for it was really useful for defining the web application and deployments. Application side. So once this was done, we were also able to create an initial new SSL certificates, releasing them across deployment side. Role-based access control integration, like site data, and also it also helps us to keep the SSL integration. And also we were also able to add some custom headers, which will release the SSL automation API. And we just, we just don't want to do it there.
Okay. Joe, do you have any questions? Do you want to follow up on any of my questions or any of the comments?
I just want to know, what is the team size and what would be the day-to-day responsibilities and activities, and what is the expectations from the person who is going to be joining this company, and that also want to know, what is the team culture over there?
Okay, so we are a team of, currently there is 3 of us in UK, and we have part of our team based in India. There is another 4 people based in India. A manager is based there as well. Our day-to-day work is pretty much working on Akamai. So we manage the whole Akamai suite for the whole organization. So like all the CDN stuff, all the WAF related stuff. We also do a lot of integrations. So we try to integrate Akamai with as many systems as possible. We also deal with logging. So we essentially, obviously Akamai being the first hub in the flow, so we get all the user data, so we need to make sure that we also log that and we kind of display that in some sort of dashboards and stuff like that. And then we also try to integrate with Admiral, so then all the Akamai features that can potentially be automated are automated and can be used by various teams. So we try to do as much self-service as possible as well. So that be your kind of main responsibility, since you all have the DevOps experience and you're familiar with the GitHub Actions. That's something that you probably be a bit more involved with, as well as the log side of things. And then also we spend quite some time investigating various incidents, and we also deal with like the DNS stuff. So currently we're migrating everything over to Akamai DNS, so that's something that you're also familiar with. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And what was your last question? Because there was like 3 parts. Question.
It's all you have cleared all things. Like just what would be the responsibilities and what would be the team culture over there, and just that's it.
Yeah. So where are you based, by the way?
At present, I'm in London, near Greenwich.
Near Greenwich. Okay. Yeah. How long you lived in UK for?
It's been 3.5 years.
3.5 years?
Yes.
Okay. And where did you come from?
I have come from India.
Where about?
South India.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, do you have any questions? Do you have any? Think you
Yeah, I mean, I think you covered most of it. My only question was really just I see on your CV you deployed the web application firewall checkpoint and configured the IP filter. My question was just going to be during a potential security incident or...
Sorry, Joe, I think I was breaking up your voice. Hello?
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 I think it... Hello?
Can you hear me? Man, can you hear me though?
Hello? Can I rejoin? Hello?
Yeah, go on, rejoin.
Yeah. Hello, Amir? Amir?